My full name is Khánh, but you can call me in Olaf for short, because it's my English name.
All right. So now let's talk about where you live. Which town or city do you live in now?
Okay, so frankly speaking, now I am live in Phú Thọ town. So this can usually can known for a rural area. So in this, we do not have too much upgrade about our facilities or infrastructures. And more than that, in my the where I live now is in the Thanh Vinh in the Phú Thọ town, and this is not do not have too much of school. It just have one of high school that we all have to have an entrance exams in this. So I can think that it's not all convenient for me in the way we upgrade all about myself too. Yeah.
Okay. So do you live in a house or an apartment?
Personally, now I am live in a duplex house with my brothers and my parents too. And so in this, I think it is the more I think is that it's comfortably off for my parents and me and my brothers to live in this to upgrade our self of us. So in this, we have full up facilities for us to upgrade and development. Like we have our laptop and we have like the most latest laptop, and we can from that we can uh, access to instant relevant informations on the internet. And more than that, we have some rooms, so that it is the functional rooms. So we can, I think it is comfortably off for me and my family too.
So you mentioned about that room. What is your favorite room in your house?
So frankly speaking, as I mentioned before, in my room have some function room, and in that my family have a room that name is the game room. I must say that because in that rooms we have some latest facilities for us to unwind after the hostel and booster day. And from that we can break the ice after a long day that we haven't talk too much after a long day. So yeah, in that we can relax and chillax in that too.
What things make your home pleasant to live in? To be specific, what things make your
Yes.
home pleasant to live in?
Let's see. Mm. Frankly speaking, I think that the most unique point for my house is that we have the is that our like the atmosphere we bring to our strangers when they first come to my house is that we really hospitality, like the hospitality, and from that we can have a share and we can share a lot in common with our new strangers, and we from that we can break the ice with the strangers. Yeah.
Right. Are the people in your neighborhood nice and friendly?
Yes, as I mentioned before, since I consider myself to be a chatterbox, because I'm talk too much, and so I'm an extrovert person. So it is not a challenge for me to break the ice with some new strangers. But when it's come to here, I found that all of the peoples in my neighborhoods is very hospitality, and from that I can feel that we have just not have some gap or the language barriers in here. So yeah, just for the word that really hospitality.
Okay. So now let's talk about the wild animals and pets. Have you ever seen a
Yes.
wild animals?
Frankly speaking, as I mentioned before, I am now live in a rural area, so it is quite a long distance away from the Hanoi, where have some of zoos that involve some of kind of wild animal. And frankly speaking, I just came here for about 2 times in my life, and therefore I have seen some kind of wild animals like the monkeys or the lions. But the most that I really impressed it is the monkeys, because the monkeys I feel like it's quite share in common with me, because they are like they have a long they have a long leg, and they're quite funny, and they're quite hospitality like me, as I mentioned before too. So yeah.
Do you like seeing animals in the zoo?
mm, Personally, I do, as I mentioned before, I am not a person, I am an extrovert person, so it's not challenge for me to break the ice with some new things. But I do just for the monkeys is the most that I impress. So, and on top that is I do not really in the deep in the way I see and the way that I want to go to our zoo. So that I do not deep into that too.
Are there many wild animals in Vietnam?
Yeah, as far as I know, in Vietnam we have a biodiversity in that, and in that we involve some various kind of wild animals, and but as I know, they all not the reproduction of them is just not not just go too good. Yeah, so I think it is in Vietnam we kind of have various of wild animal, but in that the I think that in the foreseeable future, the the reproduction of them is not quite too good. So I think is this extinction is can be result in them.
Okay. So that is the end of part one. Now let's move to part two. I'm sending
Yes.
you the instruction for this. You're here to describe a time when you received money as a gift. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare. Time is up. Now, please describe a
Okay.
time when you receive a money as a gift.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about one of ordinary goods that I was received was money, and that was just a gift for me. So, back then at the grade 9, at this time when I entered an exam for gifted students who are good in studying process, and so that I was luckily I was true to be a person to participate in this exam. And so I take So from that, I take all the most of my quality time to prepare for this exam. And from that, I have a good result in at the end of the test. And that I get just the the second runner up in this test, but I'm quite happy with what I do, uh, what I what I done. And from that, when the summer times go, and at this time have the we have party to we have a party for all these students, and in that I came to this, and I would just receive the gifted money. So I was really quite I was quite on the top on a night cloud. So I do so I was really happy for that, because my family not I I concur that my family is comfortably off, but uh from that from this money I can give this to my mother to bring out to the best of me, and from that they can uh, well brought up, and all the people can see that my family is or well brought up me in the way they in the process they study for me. So I was really happy for this. So that's all I want to say. Thank you for your listening.
Okay. Why do people rarely use cash now?
Because in this contemporary world, the advent of some of kind mobile devices like the upgrade, like the upgrade of iPhone or Apple or Samsung too. They all have some of kind of apps, of ordinary apps in that. So it is really good for them to access instantly to uh, relevant information. So it is quite convenient for us. And if they use cash too much, it is raise the rate of crime some of crimes that they can be stolen our cash right up. And just from the phone, they just can pick up the phone and go out to like convenience store or our store in the place they want to go. And just from that, they can pay all for the goods they want, not just for the cash too. So for the convenient, I think.
Okay. When do children begin to comprehend the value of money?
Sorry, can you repeat the questions?
When do children begin to comprehend the value of money, to
Yes.
understand the value of money?
Okay. So as far as I know, our preschooling children in some of cities like Hanoi in Vietnam and Fort on, they are I think, as far as I know, they have pre they have to pre they have come up with and they have an access the the cash right in the little age. And from I think this is a good point, because in that way, our parents and individuals in the family can have teach them the value of the money since they was in the little age. And I think in more than that, in where they become a major, I think that age or the teenagers in that age of group, I think in that they can see the value of the money or cash or even the money in our mobile phone devices too.
Should parents reward children with money?
Um, in my own perspective, I do partly agree with this. So, if the parents receive all the monies like the lucky money of of their child, and they keep all of them, they cannot teach them the high-end coordinator or some spatial skills or even the money keeping skills too. And from that, they can not being able to have being able to have uh, a good background of knowledge of how how valued the money comes to them. And but however, if parents gave them all the money like the lucky money, I think that they can use that in they can use that in an egregious, like in not in good way. So they can pay all of that for the toys or things. So that, yeah, I think that have two sides.
Is it good and necessary to teach children to save money?
Um, as I mentioned before, I do believe that it is quite a good skills for all of the children, and in the rural or the even in the rural area too, because this is quite an spatial skills that we all need in the foreseen able future. And even like me, when at the next time I will go to the Hanoi and live alone, so this is quite a good skills for them, not just for the they can keep up all the monies, and from that they can know the value of the money too, and from that they can know the money that money they can pay for some of sort, like for the education systems or for the kids or for the recreational activities too.
Okay, so that is the end of our speaking test.
Yes.
I'm going to give you some feedback for each part. So, first, you mentioned the word frankly several times. I'm trying to count how many times, but maybe that's less than 10. However, uh, you can use this word specifically for things that you want to expose, like frankly, you are to confess something or to divulge something, so you can use the word frankly. But when you are giving fact, like uh the place where you live, you don't need to use the word frankly, because that's a
Yeah.
fact, so you don't need to be franked on that. So I'd like to also mention about some words that are not properly pronounced, such as facilities. However, you communicate in a way that you express yourself. But with all of this part, there are some questions that does not complement with your answer, or there are some answers that does not complement with the question. Now let me take a look. So, hospitable, we use hospitable to describe person. So we use hospitable as an adjective, but instead you use several times the word hospitally and hospitality. Hospitality is a noun, so we don't use that to describe person or a home. So instead of saying I came there, so you can say I visited. So when you
Yeah.
came, so you'll stay there for a longer time than the word visit, right? In part two, we talk about money gift.
Yeah.
So instead of saying good at studying process, so you receive a reward or money reward because you are good at studying process. So instead of saying that, you can say excel in exam or excel at school, excel in school.
Yeah.
Right? So I will or I received, instead of say I will receive, I received. So be careful on tenses. Some tenses are mistakenly mentioned every time we are speaking too fast or we are cramming. However, if you are committing tenses mistakes, several times or many times during the speaking, that it will count to mistakes.
Yeah.
And I heard that you mentioned about night clown. If I'm guessing it wrong, that might be cloud nine.
Yeah, in cloud nine.
Yes, that's cloud nine, not night clown. Cloud. That's cloud nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't be shy when expressing yourself and opening your mouth to pronounce the word correctly. So in part three, you can use some words like access, exposure, avail. So you can use those words about using money or getting exposed to money. And also, the last one is little age. So instead of using little, we use a younger age for person
Yeah.
or children. So that's all. You can review our speaking test so that you can
Yeah.
check on some mistakes. Thank you, Olaf. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye, teacher.